back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Faith. The last video y'all did see was me packing my hospital bag. It is now 2 months later or something, and I am officially not pregnant anymore. I had my baby boy 3 weeks ago. I really intended on doing a birth vlog, but that did not happen, and as I'm going through my birth story, you guys will see why. And the main reason is because things happened a lot quicker than I intended them to, and I didn't really have time to sit down and vlog any of it. I'm just gonna talk about it so y'all can get the full feel for the experience that I had, because this was such a different experience than I had with Asher. Asher's, I went into the hospital after having contractions all night that weren't getting any closer or any more painful. They put me on Pitocin, they broke my water, I got my epidural, he came out 7 hours later. Things were smooth and easy and just great. But this time did not go like that. It was Thursday, September 3rd. I was due on the 2nd, and I was supposed to be induced on the 1st, but since it was not medically necessary, they did not have any beds open, and it got pushed back. I was waiting on a phone call for when a bed did open up, but I naturally went into labor on the 3rd. I was having contractions throughout the day, just normal contractions that I've been having for weeks because I was in predominant labor for a while with this pregnancy. About 8 o'clock rolls around, and I'm noticing that they're getting more painful than they have been for the most of the pregnancy. So I was starting to think maybe this could be it, but I really doubted that this was it. And if it was it, then I knew I had plenty of time, because usually labor does not happen super quick. These contractions were about 8 to 10 minutes apart, so I still should have had a while. 9 o'clock rolls around, which is Asher's bedtime, and I went ahead and put him down because even if I did go into the hospital, I figured I would have got sent home, and I didn't want to take him to my in-laws and wake them up or have them come home from work for me to just get sent home and for Asher's bedtime to be all messed up. So we put him down and we hopped into the shower. Once we got out of the shower is when things really started to pick up. Contractions became 5 minutes apart instead of 10 minutes apart. This was whenever I really started thinking that maybe we should go to the hospital tonight. So I started making plans for someone to come over and watch Asher while we went to the hospital, because I still did not want to wake him up and take him to my in-laws, because I still thought that I'd probably get sent home. I tell Nick to not get ready for bed, but you know, we're going to the hospital just to be checked, just to be safe, being as though I am past my due date at this point. It was probably pushing 10 o'clock or something. And as I'm waiting for the people to come over who's supposed to watch Asher, contractions got to be about 3 minutes apart and super intense. The pressure was so bad, it felt like my water was gonna break and he was just gonna fall right on out. So I was crossing my legs, doing everything I could to not push down at all or bear down, because I did not want my water to break. I always said I wanted my water to break, not at the hospital, but with how bad these contractions were hurting already, and I heard that contractions get worse once your water breaks, I did not want them to get worse because your girl couldn't handle it. I'm already wanting an epidural. I figured I was probably 5 to 6 centimeters at this point. I never really felt what like real bad contractions felt like with Asher, because I got the epidural when I was only at a 3. So this was a different level of pain than I felt with Asher, but I still didn't think that it was like past the transitioning stage or near pushing time or anything. But I did feel like my water was gonna break, so I told Nick to go put a towel in the car just in case my water breaks in the car. We can try to clean up some of it, I don't know, but it was just in case. So they get here and we get into the car, and the hospital is about a 25-minute drive. But Nick said he got us there in like 9 minutes, so he was really flying. We get there and I'm trying to walk in. I guess the contractions were like 3 minutes apart, if not closer, because it just kept getting more intense very quickly. And so I'm trying to like walk the halls. I should have just asked for a wheelchair, but my independent self was like, I got this, I can walk, let's get there. We get into the room that they check you out in before you go to a labor and delivery room. They give me the gown, so I put the gown on and we're sitting in there. I'm kind of crying because it hurts a little bit. I'm not like full on bawling and like tears are flooding, but like it hurts. So I'm shedding a few tears and they're taking 15 minutes. It's probably like 11 o'clock now. Why are they taking so long? I made Nick go out there and get them to check me because they were taking 15 minutes and I wanted the epidural now. I did not want to be stuck without one. Oh, he goes out and gets them, and then about 5 minutes after he goes out there, they come in. They're like, we're just gonna check you for dilation. You're doing great. If you could just lay back, because I was sitting up at this point. If you could just lay back. So I lay back, and she goes to check my cervix. I hear her kind of say, oh, that's a 9. I can feel her water. I kind of heard it. At this point, I'm a little freaked out because did she mean I'm 9 centimeters dilated? Because no, that can't be true. This isn't that bad and I need the epidural. So she has her coworker also check me and she goes, oh yep, that's a 9. So I'm like, a 9 centimeters? And they were like, yep. And I was like, no. And I start full on freaking out, like I'm having a panic attack, I'm hyperventilating. I cannot breathe. I keep saying, I can't do this, please give me the epidural. They're trying to give me my IV so they can get my blood, and they tell me that they cannot give me the epidural until my blood test comes back to make sure that I don't react badly to the epidural. But whenever I heard 9 centimeters, and it's only been 2.5 hours of solid contractions, I knew there was no chance in me getting the epidural. We are still in the checkout room. They have not got me to a labor and delivery room yet. They call the doctor into this room. Usually the doctor would not see you until you were in the actual labor and delivery room. He introduces himself. I seen him once whenever I was pregnant with Asher. He was like, I'm gonna be the one taking care of you today. And then he checked me also. He was like, that's a 9.5. So I've already went up another half centimeter. I only had half a centimeter to go until I was allowed to push. The baby's heart rate keeps dropping really low. What they thought was because I was not breathing right and I was freaking out and hyperventilating. So they were like trying to get me to breathe and to calm down. They put me on oxygen. Nothing was helping. They were flipping me around to each side. Everything was very hectic and very fast. And it's only been like 10 minutes since they even came in the first place. So they're doing all this and they're kind of like talking quietly to where I can't hear them. I guess they could already see how scared I was. The doctor starts closing the blinds and shutting the door, and he says something about they need a cart. And Nick asked the doctor, like, are y'all gonna just deliver the baby right here? And the doctor said, we might have to. They are like prepping everything, I guess. I don't even know. I'm out of it at this point. I'm just trying to breathe and I'm freaking out, obviously. All of a sudden, they're like, okay, there's a room open, we need to go. So they like take me in the bed and they're running through the hospital, like literally like sprinting through this hospital. They get me into the room and they're like, you need to move over to the other bed. And I was like, I can't even think about moving. Somehow I did. I made it onto the other bed and they put the stirrups up and they got everything ready super quick. There was no time to just sit there and chill. It was, as soon as I got in there, it was pushing time. He breaks my water because somehow at 9.5 centimeters, my water had not broke yet. Don't even know how that's a thing, but it is. They're like, okay, you need to push. So I'm trying to push and all I'm really doing is screaming. It's kind of like in the movies whenever they make birth look really dramatic. I always thought that they were just being dramatic because with Asher's birth, it was not at all like that. I had my epidural, so things were smooth. I was able to push and just things didn't hurt, and it was so nice. But this time, it was definitely dramatic. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. It hurt so bad. I didn't really know what was going on yet. They didn't communicate with me very well, but I don't think they had time to in that moment because they did explain some things after I had him. But from what Nick said is the doctor held the baby's head in while the cord came out, meaning I had a cord prolapse, which they kind of explained a little bit to me after I had him. But a cord prolapse is where the cord in the baby come out at the same time. It's supposed to be baby cord then placenta, but mine was baby and cord at the same time, which usually they told me would be an emergency C-section. As soon as they noticed it, they would take you straight to the OR and prep you, but it was a lot quicker for me to just vaginally deliver him than it was for them to try to prep me to do that. The reason that it would be a C-section normally is because if the baby's head is pushing against the cord, then it cuts off the nutrients from the cord to getting to him and can kill him and or me. But they held the baby's head in so it wouldn't push on the cord while the cord came out. And once the cord came out, everyone in the room was like, "Mama, you have to push him out now or he will die." So hearing that was extremely scary. Who wants to hear that? I stopped thinking about screaming and I just pushed as hard as I could because I did not want my baby to die, obviously. About a minute later at 11:37 p.m., out came Luca J. Coder. He was not crying, which you obviously want the baby to be crying when they come out. And whenever I seen him, because they held him up for just a second and was like, "Here he is," he was limp, his arms were not moving, his legs were not moving, he was just there, which was also very scary because they did tell me just minutes ago that he could die if I did not get him out, and I thought I got him out super quickly. He ended up inhaling amniotic fluid on his way out, which was choking him, so therefore he was not getting any oxygen and was not able to breathe properly. So I was not able to get that instant skin to skin that most mamas do, and Nick was not able to cut the umbilical cord because they needed to take him off to a bed and they stuck a tube down his throat to suck out everything that was in his lungs and make sure that he could breathe properly. At this point, they're starting to deliver my placenta and stitch me up. I had a 2nd-degree tear, which is the same amount of tearing I had with Asher. All I'm asking is like, why was he not crying? Is he okay? When can I hold my baby? You know, all these thoughts are going through my head. I also was wondering, when in the heck can I get something for this pain? Because my body hurts so bad. About 15 minutes after delivering him, it felt like forever. It might not have even been 15 minutes, but it felt like 20 hours. They finally brought him over to me and I was able to see him and hold him. And the first thing I noticed was he is huge compared to Asher. Asher was 6 pounds 4 ounces whenever he was born. And whenever they weighed Luca, he was 8 pounds 1 ounce. So whenever I had him, he was huge. Like Asher wasn't even 8 pounds till like he was a month old. After all that, they also told me that he passed Melicani on his way out or in the womb somewhere, which is where they passed the first bowel movement, and that can also be very dangerous for both me and him if it was to be in there for too long. They did say that it happened very close to whenever he was born. He is completely healthy and I'm completely healthy, and we are 3 weeks postpartum. Labor was very scary. It was not that perfect vlog worthy birth that you see a lot of times on YouTube, but it was our birth and it is very unique, and I feel so empowered to know that I did it all natural without an epidural. Even though I probably wouldn't opt to do it again, knowing that I did it feels amazing. I think that I hit every point that I wanted to talk about. There wasn't much to talk about because it happened very quickly, but there was also a lot to talk about because it happened very quickly. So this was my 2nd birth. That could be why it happened so fast, but I still feel like it shouldn't have only been a 2-hour labor. Doctor did tell me, who delivered Luca, that the next time I have a baby, I should really try to be induced. And it's funny because I did try to be induced and they kept pushing me back, but now I feel like they won't push me back because I have more of a medical reason. I do not want to have a car baby, which is almost what he was, being 9 centimeters when I showed up. All I had was 1 more centimeter and he'd have been coming out. I would have had to deliver him in the car or at home. He probably would not have made it because of the cord prolapse. I would not have had the doctor's help to prevent him from crushing the cord, and I wouldn't be holding my sweet little boy if that would have happened. I'm very thankful for the way things did turn out. and I'm so blessed to have my baby boy. He is definitely a little miracle. I'm sorry if this video was everywhere. I tried. It's been 3 weeks, so things aren't as clear as they was just a few days after they all happened. And even in the moment, it felt like an out-of-body experience, so it's really hard to fully explain what all went on whenever I feel like I wasn't even there myself. Thank you guys for watching. I will be putting some pictures in that we took of Luca at the hospital for his name reveal for you all to see, so enjoy these sweet little pictures, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.
Cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken. Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby.